Hello students, welcome to this learning. Today we are going to learn molecular orbital diagram of carbon monoxide and some significant properties of carbon monoxide which can be explained on the basis of this molecular orbital diagram. So let's start the topic. बट उससे पहले अगर तुम्हें मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो फर्स्ट सब्सक्राइब इट एंड देन लेट्स गो. द मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल डायग्राम ऑफ कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड इज गवर्न्ड बाय द LCAO रूल, यानी कि लीनियर कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ एटॉमिक ऑर्बिटल्स रूल. हालांकि तुमको पता है LCAO का जनरल नियम क्या होता है, फिर भी मैं तुमको बता देता हूँ ताकि इस रूल्स तुमको दिमाग में एक्टिव हो जाए. ओके, द जनरल रूल्स ऑफ LCAO कहते हैं कि द कंबाइनिंग एटॉमिक ऑर्बिटल्स मस्ट बी ऑफ सिमिलर एनर्जी. The combining atomic orbitals must have the same energy or roughly the same energy so that their overlap becomes effective. That is, the overlap integral becomes, the value of the overlap integral becomes higher. Second point, either the symmetry of the two atomic orbitals must remain unchanged when rotated about the internuclear axis, or both the atomic orbitals must change symmetry in an identical manner. That is, the atomic orbitals must have proper orientation so that they combine up together. And the third point is the atomic orbitals of more electronegative atom have lower energy than that of the atomic orbitals of less electronegative atom. Okay, on the basis of these three rules, the molecular orbital diagram of carbon monoxide is constructed. Okay, let's see the diagram. ध्यान से देखो. The atomic orbitals, the energy levels of the atomic orbitals is written in the left hand side, is arranged in the left hand side, and that of the energy levels of the atomic orbitals of oxygen is written in the right hand side. So the 1s orbital of carbon combined with 1s orbital of oxygen to form sigma 1s and sigma star 1s, two molecular orbitals, one bonding and anti-bonding. Sigma 1 is bonding and sigma star 1 is anti-bonding. And in the next level, what will happen? The two 1s and 1p orbital of carbon combine together to form two hybridized sp orbitals, and look carefully here. The two hybridized orbitals are not of same energy. So actually there is some sp mixing phenomenon occurs. The s orbitals, electron density of s orbitals and that of one of the p orbitals mix up together to form two hybridized orbital. One is sp1 and another is sp2, and sp2 of higher energy, sp1 of lower energy. And similarly, 2s and 2p orbitals of oxygen combine together to form two sp hybrid orbitals. And look at here, none of the two hybridized orbital of carbon have roughly the same energy as that of the sp1 of oxygen. The sp1 orbital of oxygen can't combine with any of the orbitals of carbon. So this is actually form the non-bonding orbitals which is present in the occupants of oxygen. So this is non-bonding oxygen orbital. And look at here, the two sp1 of carbon and sp2 of oxygen are almost of same energy. So they actually combine together to form sigma sp orbital and sigma star antibonding orbital. this sigma sp is bonding and this sigma star sp is anti-bonding, definitely. Two p orbitals of oxygen which doesn't combine to form the sp hybridized orbital, and the two orbitals of carbon which do not combine together to form the hybridized orbital. So these two p orbitals of carbon and these two p orbitals of oxygen remain intact in the same energy level as they present in their atomic state. So these two atomic orbitals combine together to form two pi orbitals. One is pi 2px and pi 2py, and the antibonding pi star 2px and pi star 2py. Here of course the internuclear axis is taken, the z axis is taken as the internuclear axis, right? So and what will happen in case of the sp hybrid orbital of sp hybridized orbital of carbon, this orbital of carbon neither combine with any of the sp hybridized orbital of oxygen. One significant fact is there. Look at here, the two pi orbitals of oxygen and the sp2 orbital of carbon almost present in the same energy level, but importantly the pi orbitals and the sp orbitals, the hybridized orbital, do not have the same symmetry. Definitely their symmetry must be matched, but here symmetry is not matched. So this sp2 hybridized orbital of carbon is present as the non-bonding orbital of carbon, and the two pi orbitals of carbon and two p orbitals of carbon and two p orbitals of oxygen combine together to form pi 2px, pi 2py and pi star 2px, pi star 2py orbitals. So this is the complete MO diagram of carbon monoxide, and this non-bonding orbital of carbon is actually the HOMO, yani ki highest occupied molecular orbital of the carbon monoxide, and this pi star 2px and pi star 2p orbitals are actually the LUMO, that is lowest unoccupied molecular orbital of this molecule. So it is the molecular orbital diagram of carbon monoxide, right? So many properties of carbon monoxide can be explained on the basis of this molecular orbital diagram. In many books it can be interpreted in different ways, but it is the most authenticated way to express the to design the molecular orbital diagram of carbon monoxide. Now we have to calculate the bond order of carbon monoxide from this molecular orbital diagram. So the electronic configuration of carbon monoxide on the basis of this molecular orbital diagram is written in this way, that sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, non-bonding oxygen 2, sigma sp2, pi 2px2, pi 2py2, and non-bonding carbon 2. So these are total 40 electrons are present here, but one thing we have to keep in mind, हमको दिमाग में एक चीज ध्यान रखना होगा कि this sigma sp2 orbitals is considered as anti-bonding orbital in some books, and to calculate this bond order we have to consider this sigma sp2 orbital as an anti-bonding orbital. The reason behind it is the fact that if this mixing of s and p orbitals is not happened, then what would have happened? Then this 2s orbital of oxygen and this 2s orbital of carbon combine together to form sigma 2s and sigma star 2s, that is bonding and anti-bonding orbital. So these sigma sp2 orbitals will then would be present as an anti-bonding orbital. So to calculate this bond order of carbon monoxide, this sigma sp orbitals is considered as anti-bonding orbitals. So the bond order of carbon monoxide equal to half into number of bonding electrons, number of anti-bonding electrons, that is Nb minus Na, that is half into 10 minus 4. There are 10 bonding electrons or 4 anti-bonding electrons. This sigma 1s2 and this sigma sp2. So 4 anti-bonding electrons are there. So the bond order is 3. The bond order of 3 is determined from the molecular orbital theory. And we know carbon monoxide can be represented by 2 resonating structures. This structure of carbon monoxide, this resonating structure of carbon monoxide actually explains correctly the result of molecular orbital theory. Because take a close look here. This carbon contains one lone pair of electrons and this oxygen contains another lone pair of electrons. So actually we can interpret this thing, the lone pair of carbon and lone pair of oxygen, one lone pair each of carbon and oxygen, can be interpreted by the molecular orbital diagram, that this non-bonding oxygen electron is actually present as the lone pair of oxygen, is actually the lone pair of oxygen, and this non-bonding electron of carbon, non-bonding electron pair of carbon, is actually present as the lone pair on carbon. So this resonating structure actually explains this molecular orbital diagram more accurately, right? So let's proceed. Now carbon monoxide molecule has different very significant properties. First one is in the metal carbonyls, where the d block metals, the transition metals, combine together with oxygen to form metal carbonyls, and the compounds in which a metal is bonded only with carbonyl ligand are known as homoleptic carbonyl compounds. So there are some examples of homoleptic carbonyl compounds. There are some examples of homoleptic carbonyl compounds. NiCO4, FeCO5, CrCO6, MoCO6, CO2CO8, dicobalt octacarbonyl, etc., etc. Some examples are written here. So the bonding of in this compound can be well explained by this molecular orbital diagram. I have written in this way here. The bonding of carbon monoxide with the d block elements, the d block metals, can be represented in this by this diagram. Take a close look here. This lone pair of oxygen, this lone pair of carbon is donated to the vacant orbital of the metal to form a sigma bond. So this electron donation actually occurs from the non-bonding orbital of carbon, which contains one electron pair. So this lone pair is actually present in the occupancy of carbon. So it is actually the non-bonding electron of carbon. The non-bonding, these 2 electrons are present in the non-bonding orbital of carbon. So these electrons are donated to the vacant orbital of the metal, and simultaneously the metal orbital which contains electron pair, the pi orbitals of metal, donates the electron pair to the anti-bonding pi star orbitals. यानी कि the pi star 2px and pi star 2p orbital of carbon monoxide to form another pi bond. So इस पे लिखा हुआ कि in metal carbonyls, carbon monoxide donates electron pairs to the vacant orbital of the metal from its non-bonding, that is HOMO, highest occupied molecular orbital, to form the carbon to metal sigma bond. And simultaneously metal to carbon pi bond is formed by the donation of a pair of electrons from a filled d orbital of the metal to the vacant antibonding pi star 2px and pi star 2py, that is lowest unoccupied molecular orbital of carbon monoxide. This simultaneous bonding in metal carbonates that strengthens the linkage between metal and the ligand is known as synergic bonding. Sometimes it is known as synergic effect, it is known as synergism, etc. It is denoted by different terms. This is known as synergic bonding. मैं मॉलिक्यूलर ऑर्बिटल डायग्राम से इस चीज़ को समझाना चाहता हूँ. टेक ए क्लोज लुक हियर. दिस carbon donates the electron pair from this non-bonding orbital and it takes up the electron pair from the metal in its pi star antibonding orbitals. So the simultaneous bonding occurs. One sigma bond is formed from carbon to metal and one pi bond is formed from metal to carbon. So this simultaneous bonding actually strengthens the metal carbon bond. So the metal carbon bonds become very strong. So this effect is known as synergic effect. Metal carbon bond can be represented by this two orbital picture also. Here the carbon monoxide had filled sigma Nb non-bonding orbital from which it can donate electron pair to the vacant orbital of the metal, and of course the symmetry of the two orbitals must be matched definitely. This sigma overlap is formed, sigma overlap is obtained, and carbon to metal sigma bond is formed. And in the similar way, metal has filled d orbital from which it can donate the electron pair to the vacant antibonding orbital of carbon monoxide to form this pi overlap. There is the pi bond which is formed by the electron donation from the metal to carbon. So the synergic effect can be explained, the two types of bonds can be explained by these two diagrams also, and which I have told earlier that this synergic bonding has many applications. It can explain many properties of carbon monoxide where metal carbon bond is present. So here are some explanations of various properties of carbon monoxide with the help of this synergic effect. The first one is carbon monoxide is a very strong field ligand which is present at the very higher position in the spectrochemical series of ligands. इस पे the spectrochemical series को लिखा हुआ है. Look at the series. There are many ligands where carbon monoxide is present at the very higher position, just below triphenyl phosphine molecule. So carbon monoxide is a very strong field ligand. Actually increases the energy gap between the T2G and EG orbitals in the octahedral field. So this is a very strong field ligand, and this is a very strong field ligand because of the interaction of the metal carbon. This carbon monoxide with the metal is very strong, and this strong interaction की वजह से कार्बन मोनोक्साइड एक बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग फील्ड लिगैंड बन गया है. ओके, लेट्स प्रोसीड to our next fact, that the carbon oxygen bond length in mononuclear metal carbonyls is greater than that in free carbon monoxide molecule. We have taken an example here. The carbon oxygen bond length in free carbon monoxide molecule is 1.128 angstrom, but the value of carbon monoxide bond length in FeCO5, that is iron pentacarbonyl molecule, is 1.15 angstrom. That is, this bond length is greater and this bond length is smaller. We know as the bond order increases, the bond dissociation energy increases, and of course bond order is inversely proportional to the bond length. So what happened there? Here is the structure of iron pentacarbonyl. Look at here, these metal carbon bonds actually acquire some double bond character because of the synergic effect. Because iron donates the electron pairs to the antibonding orbital of carbon monoxide. And when the electron comes in the antibonding orbital, the bond order decreases, and as the bond order decreases, the bond length becomes greater, and as a result of that, the carbon oxygen bond length in iron pentacarbonyl is greater than that of free carbon monoxide molecule. And not just iron pentacarbonyl, in all the mononuclear metal carbonyls, these things occurs. Where there is no bridging carbon oxygen bond, definitely we have discussed later. There are bridging carbon monoxide are there in many binuclear metal carbonyls, whereas in the mononuclear metal carbonyls, the metal carbon bonds acquire some double bond character, and due to synergic effect, hence its bond length increases. Okay, let's move to the next point. Next fact, that the order of bond energy, this question is set in many competitive exams. Let us consider the three metal carbonyl species. We have to arrange these metal carbonyls in the order of their carbon oxygen bond energy. The explanation is that I have written the order. The manganese hexacarbonyl cation has greater bond energy. The carbon oxygen bond of this species has greater bond energy than this one, and carbon oxygen bond energy of this species is greater than this one. So the explanation is here. Look at here vanadium actually contains one negative charge. Here chromium metal is neutral, and here manganese is positively charged. So the electron density on vanadium is highest. So vanadium can donate higher electron density to the antibonding orbital of carbon monoxide, and when antibonding orbitals acquire some electron, its bond order decreases, and when the bond order decreases, the bond length automatically becomes larger. So the bond order of this species, where metal contains positive charge, matlab manganese can donate less electron density to the antibonding orbital, and hence its bond order will be greater, and greater bond order means its carbon oxygen bond energy becomes larger. So this manganese, in this species, the carbon oxygen bond has greater bond energy, and as the charge on the metal increases, the negative charge, the electron density on the metal increases, the carbon oxygen bond order becomes less, and bond energy decreases gradually. Okay, the next fact is very important. This is biological fact, definitely. The carbon monoxide binds more strongly with the Fe2 plus ion in carboxyhemoglobin than oxygen binds with Fe2 plus in oxyhemoglobin. And as a result of that, in presence of carbon monoxide, hemoglobin can't carry oxygen. So first of all, we consider, हमें ऑक्सीहीमोग्लोबिन को स्ट्रक्चर देख लेते हैं. This is a structure of oxyhemoglobin. This is your hemoglobin molecule. There are 4 pyrrole rings are there, and the pyrrole rings are joined by these methynyl groups, to form this porphyrin ring, and of course there are methyl, there are vinyl, there are propionyl groups, etc. So this is your porphyrin ring, and Fe2 plus is present at the middle of this porphyrin ring in the hemoglobin molecule. And oxygen, when oxygen binds with this metal here with this iron 2 plus, there is your histidine molecule. This histidine, that is amino acid, definitely. Histidine donates the electron pairs to iron when iron binds to oxygen. As a result, the hexa coordination of iron occurs, and this hemoglobin molecule carries oxygen by when oxygen binds with Fe2 plus ion. So this is your oxyhemoglobin molecule, and oxygen is carried in the blood by forming this oxyhemoglobin molecule, you know, from our biological knowledge. But what happens in presence of carbon monoxide? Carbon monoxide actually combines with this hemoglobin molecule to form carboxyhemoglobin, and this is your carboxyhemoglobin molecule. In this carboxyhemoglobin molecule, the iron carbon bond is definitely stronger due to the synergic effect. This carbon metal bond acquires double bond character, and this is very strong bond in comparison to that bond formed between iron and oxygen. So in presence of carbon monoxide, when carbon monoxide binds with hemoglobin to form carboxyhemoglobin, oxygen carry will be hindered, will be resisted. So hemoglobin can't carry oxygen in presence of carbon monoxide due to the formation of carboxyhemoglobin, in which there is a strong bond formed between iron and carbon monoxide by the synergic effect. So this is a very important fact. All of them can be explained on the basis of synergic effect, synergic mechanism. So this is all about the molecular orbital theory of carbon monoxide, and the explanation of these properties on the basis of the molecular orbital theory of carbon monoxide, right? So this is all about our topic today. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks.